Hello and welcome to a new video. In this video I'm going to show you my first Paladin build in World of Warcraft Reborn, Ascension Bronzebeard. This build will include Mystic Scrolls, talents and pre-raid biz gear to make you ready for the upcoming raids. So let's dive in. My first build centers around the Mystic Scroll, One with the Light. This is pretty much our best legendary Mystic Scroll for Retribution Paladin. The reason for this is One with the Light increases our holy damage by 10%, but it reduces our physical damage by 10% in exchange. It also allows our Crusader Strike and Divine Storm to deal extra holy damage, which is scaling with our spell power. The reason why this Mystic Scroll is so good is because of our really high scaling. Together with this talent here, Chef of Light, which funnels our attack power into spell power, and our modifiers like Enchants, we scale insanely good with Strength, which funnels into holy power. And with better gear, this Mystic Scroll will get even better. So, in my opinion, One with the Light is our strongest legendary scroll. Another reason why it's so good is the amount of button bloat we have as a Retribution Paladin. We have a lot of skills to press, and in order to do so, we would need a lot of haste. But we don't want haste as a Retribution Paladin, we want strength, crit, spell power, and of course hit and expertise to be kept. So a modifier like this is better than more buttons to press in my opinion. For builds, I have two setups. One setup for single target as you can see here, and one setup for dungeons as you can see here. Our single target build goes together with Drake Fury Scale as a trinket, which I will show you later on, and this Mystic Scrolls here. For legendaries, I use Crusader of the Light. This allows us after 12 auto attacks to attack again, and it also reduces the cooldown of our wings by 10 seconds every time this procs. My second epic enchant is Fierce Vengeance. This allows our Vengeance talent to stack up an additional time, so instead of 9% more holy power and physical damage increase, we get 12% for both now, so 3% more physical damage and 3% more holy damage with this. For my third mystic enchant, I use Divine Resurgence. This allows our auto attacks to have a 12% chance to reset the cooldown of Divine Storm. Divine Storm is our hardest hitting ability with 110% weapon damage. I really like to get this proc here. Another strong option you could consider for single target is Sword of Vengeance here. This allows the judgment of your Seed of Vengeance to deal additional damage. You could, for example, use this instead of Divine Storm here, but I think this one is better. For rare enchants, I go with Glyph of Vengeance. This gives us 10 more expertise, which is necessary to expertise cap for raids. I use Seals of the Pure here to get 15% more damage of Seal of Vengeance. Glyph of Exorcism for 20% more damage on Exorcism. Glyph of Consecration for 2 seconds more Consecration duration. Normally we don't have to move so much in raids, so I like this talent to have less button bloat. Glyph of Judgment for 10% more damage on Judgment. And Divine Strength for 15% more strength overall. Really good modifier. If you want to, you could also adjust Glyph of Consecration with Glyph of Crusader Strike for 3% more crit chance on your Crusader Strike. Just adjust this to what fits your best. For Artifact, I go with Light Hammer just to have another hitting ability here. My dungeon setup looks pretty much the same. I also go with One with the Light as well as Crusader of the Light, Divine Resurgence and Fierce Vengeance, as well as Light Hammer for Artifact. Only my rares are a bit different. So I go with Glyph of Seed of Command here to get 8% more base mana every time I touch Seed of Command. I obviously use Seal of Command when I go AoE in dungeons, and I use Glyph of Holy Wrath for 15 seconds less cooldown on Holy Wrath for more AoE power. The other seals are pretty much the same. For talents, I go 5 points into Benediction, 2 points into Improved Judgment, 3 points into Heart of the Crusader, 3 points into Conviction as well as Seal of Command, 1 point into Pursuit of Justice. You can also adjust this here if you want to take Improved Blessing of Might, for example. I just like more movement speed. 3 points into Sanctity of Battle, 3 points into Crusade, Sanctified Retribution to increase the damage of our auras on all targets by 3%, really great skill. 3 points into Two-Hand Weapon Specialization for more damage, Vengeance for another modifier, Divine Purpose, of course, to be able to remove stuns on your targets when you use Hand of Freedom of them. This is a really great spell which you should use. Repentance, Judgment of the Wise to get more mana regeneration, Art of War, really strong talent, Fanaticism, Sanctified Wrath, Promise of the Crusader, Breath of Light, Swift Retribution 3 points, this gives all our other targets affected by our aura 3% more attack speed, Righteous Vengeance and Divine Storm. So pretty much normal Retribution talent tree. So for gear, we are using Cenarian Infantry Helmet, Dragonfang Talisman, Lightforged Spolders, Pale Moon Cloak for hit, Blade of the Shaman King, Bracers of Cooled Anger, the Light's Hope as a weapon with Crusader enchant, Firebrand Libram, this is really strong and it scales with spell power, Hand of Justice, Break Fury Scale in our single target build because this hit caps us, 2 Gordok Nose Rings for expertise, Lightforged Boots, as you can see here I used this reset bonus here, Lightforged Leg Plates, Crusader's Girdle, and Fist of Phalanx with expertise enchant. I also have a hit enchant on my boots, and as you can see here I am expertise capped and I am hit capped with this setup. For my dungeon setup I simply swap out the Drake Fury scale for premium banana. I am not hit capped anymore, but for heroic dungeons this is not necessary. So I do way much damage here, about 2 to 3k DPS, and the banana is helping with the clear speed a lot because it's a really strong melee trinket. I have this pre-raid gear setup here. I would say it's half sweaty because I grinded Cenarian Hold Reputation to Exalted to get this helmet here, the Cenarian Infantry Helmet, as well as Argent Dawn Reputation to Exalted to get this two-hand sword here, the Light's Hope, which is the strongest weapon you can get right now, pre-raid, as well as Crusader's Girdle here, which is also really good. If you don't want to grind this reputation, you can also use Lightforged Helmet here instead of this one, but I would suggest to get at least Exalted with Argent Dawn to get this weapon here. It's not so hard to do. You can grind Scholomance as your specific dungeon every day. This gives you reputation and every run gives you around 10 heroic marks, which you can exchange for other heroic gear. So you can get all of this done in one dungeon. If you use an aura and potion from the shop and combine it with the buff from Halloween event, you can get exalted after around 40 to 50 runs of Scholomance. Just turn in all your Scorch stones while you use those auras. You can buy those auras from the auction house with gold, so you don't have to spend real money. You can do the same for the Cenarian reputation. You can just turn in Twilight texts, which drops from Twilight mobs and Silphus. You need about 450 Twilight texts and a few quests there. On the dummies, as you can see here, my single target setup does about 1.6k DPS self-buffed. This seems low, but don't underestimate how much damage increases when we get raid buffs. Our scaling is insanely high, so we should do around 2.2 to 2.5k DPS in raids. We won't be top DPS, but we have a fun playstyle, lots of buffs and utility with our talents, which increases the raid DPS of our raid members as well, and we can hold the ground in DPS for sure. For AoE, as you can see here, when we pop our cooldowns, and even if we don't pop our cooldowns, our damage is really high. We do around 2.5 to 4 to 5k DPS in AoE scenarios with this build. So we have really high damage and will be a great part of each dungeon group. Alright, that's my first setup, one with the light. With this you can go into raids for sure. What do you think about the best build right now? Let me know in the comments down below. I will do more builds soon. I want to test out my Seal of Righteousness build, as well as Templar, Seal Twisting and Execution Sentence. I will release those builds sooner for my channel members, so if you're interested to get early access to this content, you can become a channel member. If you want to learn more about Retribution Paladins, make sure to like and subscribe this video. Also, if you want to learn more about finding Mystic Scrolls on Ascension Warcraft Reborn, you can subscribe to my second channel, which focuses only on runes for Bronzebeard and Malfurion. You can find the link in the video description down below. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this useful, consider to like and subscribe for more World of Warcraft Reborn content. Special thanks goes out to my channel members who support me with their hard-earned real-life money, especially Nerdman and Salik for being high-tier supporter. See you on the next video.